Leaving the safety of your home to venture out into the world is a very daunting task, whether that be in the real world or the anime one. Following a person's journey to reach their goal is an extremely effective way to add to the narrative of a show without needing to add strange filler, because everything the character goes through adds to their personalities. Welcome to DoubleDollars, and today we will be listing 10 adventure anime with an overpowered protagonist.
今はっきりしたこのゲーム俺たちの勝ちだ
Before we begin, my lists are mainly informative, so if you learned about a new anime from watching this video, make sure to comment which one it was below. And if you didn't find anything new or just enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe and look forward to future uploads. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Number 10, Desert Punk. The Great Kanto Desert, a sweltering wasteland, is all that remains of post-apocalyptic Japan. In the vast desert filled with nothingness, we follow Tsunabozu, or Desert Punk, who gained his famous reputation for always finishing his jobs no matter what. With his knowledge of the desert and cunning tactics, he has become a force of destruction to other desert people and a living legend among them. However, Superman is not without his kryptonite, and Tsunabozu is not without his weaknesses, who Junko Asagiri soon discovers. Turns out, he's a huge pervert and loves to mess around with women whenever he gets the chance. Will this turn out to cause him to lose his legendary reputation, or will he maintain a perfect record? This anime is very similar to Trigun in its setting and protagonist's reputation. It is filled with interesting interactions between each characters and contains a fair amount of fan service. So if that sounds like an anime you would want to watch, I suggest you check this one out.
Okay, look, I just want to know what you're doing all the way out here in such a sexy little number.
Number 9, Kino's Journey.
Bagaかお前撃った撃ちましたすいません降参します
15-year-old Kino loves one thing to do in her free time: traveling. Nothing fills her heart with joy like exploring the beautiful, wonderful world around her and the fascinating ways people live. Kino is not as helpless as her cute appearance and courteous demeanor may suggest. Armed with her trusted handguns, cannon, and woodsmen, Kino isn't afraid to kill anyone who would dare get in her way or threaten her. By her side is her best friend and loyal companion, Hermes, a sentient motorcycle who drives Kino across the world. As the two encounter new people and learn the rules of their cultures, they grow and find out more about their own values and virtues. But as Kino slowly discovers the world around her, she also finds herself facing dangers that linger within the vast unknown. This anime is a remake of the original one that aired in 2003. Each place that Kino visits is unique in its own way and has some sort of problem that Kino and Hermes solve during their 3-day stay. This anime is a really good watch if you enjoy appreciating the small things that life has to offer. Number 8, Tales of Zestria. Sore is a young boy who's spent his entire life living in harmony alongside the Seraphim in the village of Elysia. Fascinated by the myths of the Celestial Records, he explores some nearby ruins with Miklia, his childhood Seraphim companion, hoping to enlighten himself about the Seraphim's history with mankind. Unfortunately, they become trapped in the depths of the historical site during their investigation. While searching for an exit, they come across a mysterious girl who desperately seeks the help of a shepherd to save the world, which is on the brink of being consumed by darkness. Despite Miklio's warnings about making contact with other humans, Sorei decides to help the stranger, which unknowingly leads him closer to his dream of peaceful coexistence between man and seraphim. This anime is an adaptation of a game that goes by the same name, and I think that the animation studio did a great job at handling each character's narrative very well. Not to mention that it was animated by Ufotable, which means the animation is going to be crisp.
Umai. Umai. Umai.
Number 7, Grimoire of Zero. In a world of constant war between humans and witches, there's a third party, Beastfallens. Cursed humans born with the appearance and strength of an animal. Their physical strength and primal nature causes them to be feared and shunned by both humans and witches. As a result, many Beastfallen become sellswords, making their living through hunting witches. Despite the enmity between the races, a light-hearted witch named Zero enlists a Beastfallen whom she refers to as Mercenary, to act as her protector. He travels with Zero and Albus, a young magician, on their search for the Grimoire of Zero, a powerful spellbook that could be extremely dangerous in the wrong hands. During their journey, his inner kindness is revealed as he starts to show compassion and sympathy towards humans and witches alike, and the unlikely companions grow together. The theme of this anime is focused a lot on the hierarchy of society and the oppressed. The moral of their interactions is something to watch out for, because this is what makes the plot of this anime worth watching and interesting.
なんでこんなところに。
貴様。我が輩が手塩にかけたスープをよくも。
Number 6, Magmel of the Sea Blue.
二人の死体だけじゃ足りなかった。
兄さん。
A new era of exploration begins with the sudden appearance of Magmel, a new continent filled with treasures and never before seen natural resources. However, the unknown is not always docile, and people known as anglers started to get hired due to their ability to traverse through Magmel's wildlife. One such angler is the highly skilled and experienced Inyo, who performs search and rescue operations for clients with the help of his assistant, Zero. This anime is very diverse in what it chooses to develop. On one hand, the story slowly shows us Inyo's history with Magmel and why he's so skilled, while on the other hand, the story develops the world of Magmel and its mysteries. Both are done extremely well, and it's nice to see an anime that fleshes out its world in a unique way while also explaining questions viewers might have. Number 5, To Your Eternity. A mysterious immortal being is sent to Earth with no emotions nor identity. All it knows is that it's able to take the shape of those around that have a strong life force. At first it takes a sphere, then it imitates the form of a rock. As temperatures drop and snow falls atop the moss, it inherits the moss. When an injured wolf comes limping by and lays down to die, it takes on the form of the animal. Finally gaining consciousness, it begins to traverse the empty tundra until it meets a boy. The boy lives alone in a ghost town, which adults abandoned long ago in search of the paradise, said to exist far beyond the endless sea of white tundra. However, their efforts were for naught, and now the boy is in a critical state. Acquiring the form of the boy, it sets off on a never-ending journey in search of new experiences, places, and people. This anime is a really nice anime if you want a more quiet yet mysterious anime. The anime contains so many touching moments that will pull at your heartstrings, yet make you want to find out more about this mysterious thing. Number 4, Kabanari of the Iron Fortress.
強いこいつまさか
そうだよ
The world is in the midst of the Industrial Revolution when horrific creatures called Kabane emerge from a mysterious virus, ripping through the flesh of humans to sate their never-ending appetite. And the only way to kill these beings is by destroying their steel-coated hearts. Only the most fortified of civilizations have survived this turmoil, as in the case where the island of Hinomoto, where mankind has created a massive wall to protect themselves from the endless hordes of Kabane. The only way to get into these giant fortresses is via heavily armored trains, which are serviced and built by young men such as Ikoma. Having created a deadly weapon that he believes will easily pierce through the hearts of the Kabane, Ikoma eagerly awaits the day when he will be able to fight using his new invention. Little does he know, however, that this chance will come much sooner than he expected. There's not too much I need to explain when it comes to this anime. It's zombies, but anime. And because it's anime, it allows the story to be a little less tied to reality. Add on the fact that it was directed by Tetsuro Araki, who also directed Attack on Titan, and you know the show will be a good watch. Number 3, Tower of God. There's a tower that summons chosen people called regulars, with the promise of granting their deepest desires, whether it be fame, wealth, authority, or something that surpasses them all. Bam is a boy who had only known a dark cave, a dirty cloth, and an unreachable light his entire life. So, when a girl named Rachel came to him through the light, his entire world changed. Becoming close friends with Rachel, he learned various things about the outside world from her. But when Rachel says she must leave him to climb the tower, his world shatters around him, vowing to follow after her no matter what it takes. He sets his sight on the tower. Thus began the journey of Bam, a young boy who was not chosen by the tower, but opened its gates by himself. They call his kind irregulars, beings that have shaken the very foundation of the tower each time they set foot inside it. This anime is one of the first webtoons to be adapted into an anime, and you can see that through the art style. This anime is just a solid watch if you haven't already. The only thing is that since there is so much story to go through, Season 1 will not cover everything, so stay updated for Season 2.
今はっきりしたこのゲーム俺たちの勝ちだ
Number 2, Katanagatari.
巨刀流七花八列
In an Edo-era Japan lush with a variety of sword fighting styles, Shichika Yasuri practices the most unique one, Kyotoryu, a technique in which the user's own body is wielded as a blade. The enigmatic seventh head of the Kyotoryu school, Shichika lives quietly in exile with his sister Nanami, until one day, a wildly ambitious strategist, Togame, barges into their lives. Togame brazenly requests that Shichika help in her mission to collect 12 unique swords known as the Deviant Blades for the shogunate. Shichika accepts, interested in the girl herself rather than the petty politics, and thus sets out on a journey. Standing in their way are the fierce wielders of these legendary weapons as well as other power-hungry entities who seek to thwart Togame's objective. In order to prevail against their enemies, the duo must become an unbreakable team as they forge ahead on a path of uncertainty and peril. This anime is a very unique one, both in art style and storytelling. The fight choreography is nice and the story progression isn't too slow. Overall, a really good anime to watch.
なんで
何が違ったへそいや俺のこれはへそなんかじゃねえ変身は完璧だ
Before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions that are really popular but were a little too mainstream to take a spot on the list. Danmachi. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
いるのが完全に予測できるぞこのカスタムの動きは
Magi.
行かないんだ
With those out the way, number 1, Golden Kamuy. In the early 1900s, Hokkaido, after the Russo-Japanese War, Saichi Sugimoto is feared as the immortal Sugimoto for his savagery on the battlefield during the Russo-Japanese War. But he is by no means a war hero. The ex-soldier seeks fortune in order to fulfill a promise made to his best friend before he was killed in action, which was to support his family, especially his widow, who needs treatment overseas for her deteriorating eyesight. One day, a drunken companion tells Sugimoto the tale of a man who murdered a group of Ainu and stole a fortune in gold. Before his arrest by the police, he hid the gold somewhere in Hokkaido. The only clue to its location is the coded map he tattooed on the bodies of his cellmates in exchange for a share of the treasure, should they manage to escape and find it. Soon, Sugimoto discovers a man's corpse bearing the same tattoo described in the story. However, before being able to control himself, a bear attacks him, and drawing close to his last breath, he's saved by a young Ainu girl named Asripa, whose father happened to be one of the murdered Ainu. With Asripa's hunting skills and Sugimoto's survival instincts, the pair agree to join forces and find the hidden treasure. Golden Kamuy is definitely one of the must-watches, and I recommend it if you want a slice of history that's not too heavy, or if you want to expose yourself to the diversity of the culture behind it all. Hey everyone, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Like always, if you liked the video or my content in general, make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with future uploads. And with that aside, I'll see you later.